Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Slice of Life with Kellie and Jon. Jon and I are really excited. This is our first episode. It's going to be like our little trailer. We've already interviewed several people, really good guests. We're excited to share with our audience, and we hope that you find them as interesting and fascinating and delightful as we did. Right, Jon?
Absolutely. They're wonderful, wonderful, intelligent, entertaining, and educational people for all walks of life, not just any one niche that we are looking to fill. Kellie, why don't you tell the people a little bit about you, where you come from as far as...
Oh, my story is way too long. But for now, I am living in Wyoming. I work in marketing, and I love to do podcasts. I've been watching podcasts since way back when Joe Rogan started, and I just got fascinated with podcasts because, number one, you can play a podcast in the background when you're cleaning or cooking or taking a shower, or sometimes I sit and, just watch a podcast. So that's really all I watch. I don't watch TV or movies or anything anymore. Rarely. I watch podcasts. So I love to do them. I did one formerly with my friend Kimbra, our friend Kimbra. Actually, we met from Kimbra, and Kimbra and I did one called Kellie and Kimbra in the Moment. And then it kind of got stale. We ran out of guests and things to do and talk about. So then Jon had been our guest a few times on Kellie and Kimbra in the Moment. And I thought Jon might be a good new partner for me. And I think Kimbra's going to do a partnership with someone else and see where it goes and what happens. And Jon knows so many interesting, fascinating people. And I'm excited to meet more of his friends. I've already met some of them.
Well, yes. And like Kellie said, I started years ago, about 12 years ago now. My first book came out and toured the country a handful of times for all of, well, at least the first three of my books. And then unfortunately, COVID happened. And so I became more well-known from doing Zoom readings for my books because I couldn't tour anymore, and that had become a big problem. And podcasts had started asking me to do interviews and so on. I did several, or I shouldn't say several, but I did a handful with Kellie and Kimbra. And like Kellie said a few months ago, she asked me if I'd like to do something like this, and I do know a lot of interesting people, and I felt, okay, instead of me being the one interviewed, now we could be the one interviewing these people. Kellie, we're going to start our first episode of podcast tonight with Evie Sullivan, who is a hypnotherapist, and I know Kellie really enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, she was really interesting. I had a lot of questions for her. And I like that she's helping people in an alternative way that is not typical and not expected, because I think a lot of times we're not open to trying new things. And actually, it's something very old, hypnotism. And so sometimes we get caught up in what's new and modern, and we forget about what worked in the past. So anyway, I was really interested in learning more about her. And we had a really nice conversation.
Then we also have the Hollywood medium to the stars and the Hollywood elite, Melody. I know that you also enjoyed doing that too.
Yes, I loved Melody. Because again, it's something that's different, and we have to be open to spiritual, different kinds of things in our world, because there's so much we don't really understand. So she's a medium and a spiritual advisor, and just another delightful and dynamic personality. So I enjoyed that one too.
And then off of that type of track, we had the philanthropist, personal chef, and Robert Mitchum's granddaughter, Carrie Mitchum, who was also a wonderful interview and had wonderful stories about everything from her childhood up into all the things she's doing now to help people.
Yeah, she's a professional chef. She was an actor for a while. She had grown up in that acting community. And when we finished, I told Jon, I said, boy, if we were younger, she and I would have been great friends, because I just really resonated with a lot of what she said and what she felt about life and everything. So another just fantastic human being that was really fun to talk to.
America Young. She is a actor and who has moved into the world of directing. She has an amazing resume and certainly a lot to talk about to people interested in a career in the film industry and those already in it.
Yeah, and she she works with a lot of what's it called? What's it called? What does she do? I know she's a director now, but what's the stuff? The stunt people, stunts.
Oh yeah, she's a well-known stunt person.
Yeah.
She started off that way.
You wouldn't know that about her to look at her, and she's just beautiful and a superhero for women. I think, she's a really good role model. So,
and wait till you hear what she has to say about Barbie and her world and all the things that she had to do with the world of Barbie before the movie actually came out. Someone who's very, very, very special. When we interviewed her, she was only 20 years old. Now she has since had a birthday, but a very unique and intelligent, insightful. I don't want to call her a young girl because she's a woman, and her name is Brianne Killen, and she is a journalist in the New York area and producer for ABC television for news segments. We really enjoyed interviewing her.
I don't know what age category she's, a Gen Z or Gen A or Gen whatever. But I tell you, if that's what that age group is, we have a lot to look forward to and to expect from our youth, because I think a lot of the youth get beat up they say they don't want to work or do anything anymore. This girl is on fire, and she is going to change the world, whatever area she's in, whatever she does. So that was another really inspiring conversation with her.
Yeah, that's an episode I'm going to look forward to putting out there. And then we return back to Hollywood. We have actress with an amazing resume, Shirley Jordan, just been in it since the 80s and seems to be nonstop in her career, and gave us insights into the way auditions are done now in the 21st century.
Yeah, it's definitely changed from when I was acting, but yeah, I felt like it was a real, honor for her to give us her time, because she's just done so much and worked with amazing people, and to take the time to give us, some time and some insight into the industry. And like you said, Jon, how it's changed and how you go about all the background work, just for an audition. So I would think maybe that really weeds out people that aren't serious about acting.
Right.
But yeah, right. It was awesome to talk to her and hear her story.
And talking about insights and research, then anybody, whether it's in the film industry or even in the corporate world, you'll learn a lot from Heather Hale, who is what we sort of called back in my Hollywood days. She was like a Hollywood maven. You went to Heather with your ideas, and she gave you everything you needed to know in order to flesh them out. And there wasn't anyone in Hollywood she didn't know. Again, even if you're not in the film industry, you can apply this to any corporate world. I know, again, Kelly enjoyed doing this interview too. So
yeah, I love talking to all these people. Heather, besides saying she's just delightful, she has no airs about her. She is so down to earth that you would not have any idea of what she's done with her life and how much she's done and how hard she works. And she's just easy. She's just easy to talk to, easy to be around. And in her energy and her passion and her happiness, she seems so happy, are just infectious. You can't sit and have a conversation with her without being tired of smiling by the time you're done, because she's just an amazing woman.
Well, there you go, folks. That's just our lineup of what we have recorded already for episodes. Yeah. We still have another handful that will be filmed in the soon and very near future, and will be ready to be put out on the air. We hope every Monday at noon a new episode will be out. We hope you enjoy a slice of life with Kellie and Jon. It's really going to be a slice.
Yeah. See you there. Bye.
Ciao.
So, hey everyone, welcome to Slice of Life with Kellie and Jon. And we have a very special guest today, Evie Sullivan. And Jon already knows her, but she's new to me. So I am fascinated with hearing more about what she does. She's a hypnotherapist. Is that your main title, Evie? Hypnotherapist?
Yes.
Okay. And so right off the bat, what do you do? How do you help people? And what kind of people do you help?
I help people who have tried everything and nothing worked. So I think that's the bottom line. The hypnotist or hypnotherapist is always the last resource. And then they knock at my door. For instance, the smokers. They have tried everything, every gum and every patch and every pill and you name it, they tried it. And then they knock at my door and they say, I need to stop smoking. I'm on the verge of lung cancer, or the doctor said I would develop lung cancer. And then I tell them to smoke as much as they want until tomorrow. And tomorrow you show up, you smoke your last cigarette before our session, and then that's it. And it works. It always works because they're ready. What doesn't work is if their spouses or children or friends tell them you have to see the hypnotist. They look at me and they say, I saw you. I saw the Vegas show. I saw the movies. I saw the TV shows. And you are the bad guys. So, okay.
How long does the therapy take before they don't want to smoke anymore?
Okay, I shouldn't say it, but I whisper it, okay?
Okay.
We won't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. The way I work is it's one session.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And then I call the next day, ask how they are doing. And sometimes I hear I had one more cigarette. And when they say that, we have to do another session. Because after the second session, we are good.
Wow.
Now, obviously, okay, so that's good for drinking. How about? I'm not
smoking.
Okay.
Smoking.
Have you ever dealt with people who had drinking problems? Does it work the same way, or bad drugs, cocaine, heroin?
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. Is that also something that you can work with?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So drug addiction and alcoholism is different.
I work with people who have been through rehab, who are going to AA meetings and are really dedicated to stop drinking or using drugs. Practicing alcoholics and especially practicing drug addicts lie, steal, you name
So
it.
it's really got to be someone who they want help.
Yeah.
Not that they feel like they have to or somebody else is making them. And, we always hear that about alcoholics anyway. They have to decide they want to give it up, or drug addicts. And so they have to really want it so that their mind is in the right place that you can reach them. So
I tell you the truth. I don't dare to work with practicing drug addicts and alcoholics because they need a doctor to watch over. If they go cold turkey with me, they can have a heart attack.
Oh.
And guess who would be blamed for it?
Yeah.
So no.
Okay.
They have to be sober for at least 3 to 4 weeks. They have to show me the chip from Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right.
And then we can start. I have 2 experiences with 2 women who were alcoholics, and that I was new. That was in 2014. And, they didn't tell me really the extent of their addiction and their sickness and everything. Both of them had, while they were working with me, committed, had suicide attempts. They didn't die, neither one of them.
But it
But
was too dramatic.
I wake
Yeah.
up all, I said, never again.
Okay. Oh, and the reason that I asked that is it's interesting that you can help people who are smoking and they want to quit smoking, but the problem with smoking cigarettes is the addictive part of that, which is the nicotine. So there is a drug part of that, but unlike the other drugs, the street drugs that are out there.
And alcohol is the most dangerous of all drugs because it's a social drug, and
Yeah.
and some people can have a glass of wine and there's no problem. There are whole countries, that everybody has a glass of wine in Italy or in France.
What does your process? How does your process work? Do you control people's minds when you do this?
The process works. I'm a therapist. I have a master's in spiritual psychology, and the beginning of the session is the regular therapy session. People tell me what's going on, and then I ask questions, and sometimes we have to regress them into their childhood to see, especially with weight loss, and I'll tell you later about that. So then we do therapy, and then I ask them, what do you want? And at that point, they have an idea what they want. When I ask the question first, hello, how are you? What do you want? No, it doesn't work, of course. But, after a while, and then I let my clients vent. They are sometimes very angry about things or very fearful or whatever. I let them vent. I'm a good listener. And then I take what they want and I let them design 3 scenes with what they want. Like the weight loss clients, the female, always the same. I want to fit into my old clothes again. I don't want to buy a new wardrobe. So, okay, what do you do when you...
Many times. I've that's always been my excuse.
And then I meant to, yeah. And then I asked them, so when you wear your old clothes, your designer clothes usually, where do you go? What do you do? With whom are you going? And so they have their fantasies. I write that all down. Then I bring them into the trance. And when they are in the trance, then I tell them, you are in front of your closet and you open the door and here are your designer dresses that finally fit again. And you are calling your friend Jon and ask if we could go to the theater and you're wearing the new dress or whatever it is, the old dress that finally fits again.
So you implant that in their minds while they're under the trance.
Yeah, but only what they tell me. Only what they tell me, not my idea of weight loss, their idea.
Yeah, so I have a question about that, about weight loss, because does it matter if it's for superficial reasons, if it's for health? Like, what are the reasons people want to lose weight? And how do you approach that?
Motivation.
Okay.
The secret sauce is, are they motivated? I had clients that they wanted to go. Oh, I had one client. That was funny. She had to go to her daughter's wedding and her ex-husband will be there.
Oh.
So she wanted to look the best she ever looked, And we only had to work on 5 pounds because she had these stubborn 5 pounds that she could not lose. And of course, we got her into this dress, and her husband's mouth couldn't shut it. And then I have the clinically obese more morbidly obese clients, 100 and sometimes 150 pounds. I only work with them if they commit themselves for a year.
150 pounds overweight?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what would the process be? Like, is it just all therapy sessions, or are you giving them a diet to follow, an exercise plan, all of that?
Yes, of course. But I have to tell you, because as a hypnotherapist, I'm not allowed to make suggestions in terms of food.
Okay.
I became a nutritionist. This is the word, a certified nutritionist. So now I can tell them,
Oh.
hey, in the morning, you are not eating the cereal, with whipping cream or whatever. So now I can give them the suggestions. But it is a slow process because it usually comes from something deep in the childhood. And Kaiser has done a study that women who are 100 to 150 pounds overweight have sexual abuse. 90% of them have sexual abuse in the childhood. So then I have to work with the PTSD and try to get them in a very gentle way, not to relive it, but to understand it.
Okay.
What about, like, I have a thyroid issue and my metabolism just stops. I mean, it just doesn't work. I can feel it. I live a very sedentary lifestyle. So I'm not asking you for my own personal therapy session here, but just kind of giving you an example. Because I think a lot of women, they end up having thyroid issues. And no matter what I do, I don't lose weight. Are you able to help with that? Like, is that something, if it's a medical issue?
Yeah, I only have to work with, in that case, I have to work with your doctor. And as a nutritionist, have to ask the doctor if she even knows or he even knows what kind of diet for thyroids, I'm so sorry, my accent, would work. I have to work with your doctor. I cannot do this on my own, but I can tell them I'm a nutritionist. I want to help, and I know Hashimoto disease. What there are books, by the way, you can read, and you get the diet suggestions, and they usually work.
Well, do you in your therapy, it can't, obviously it just can't be all willpower and diet. Is exercise included in this? Do you somehow work them into an exercise program in some fashion?
Yeah, in some fashion. I'm not in the hour we have every week. There's no way that I exercise with them.
Right.
But the first call of order is you get a diary, and I call it a smart book. And you write in every day, I ate at 8 o'clock my breakfast. I don't care what you ate. This is your stuff. But I want to know your feelings. I want to know, were you really hungry? Did you feel it from the stomach going into the brain, telling you, oh, it's breakfast time? Or were you upset and you ate emotionally? And that's what they need to write down. And that's the first column. And the second column is, how much did you walk? It's always good to get the Apple Watch is the best. I had Fitbit. I had 3 Fitbits. That doesn't really work in the long run. The Apple Watch is really designed for that. And the other thing is, I have them check their glucose levels. I ask them, it's $100 expense, but it's what it is. After the meals, to measure their glucose. And so they get an idea, I had the hope, because some of my clients have a hope box of cereal. So what does it do to your body? What does it do to your... And with thyroids, I mean, I don't wanna go too much into it, but please get the book Hashimoto disease
Okay.
and see what they say. It's an older book. I had a friend who was more morbidly. This is something I want to bring up here because this is a real story. She was a friend. She was not my client. She was morbidly obese. She was about to. She was in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair was not big enough, so she had to extend the wheelchair. The nicest person in the world. So she decided to get gastric band operation.
Gastric bypass, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gastric band, but gastric bypass. Something went wrong, and where the pouch is sewn in, they do this pouch with the stomach, and then there's some stitches. At that part, she got cancer.
Yeah.
And she made it about 2 months.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes to me with 150 pounds overweight and asks me about the gastric band, I cannot say don't do it, but I can tell this story because that was horrible. And when she died, we were very close. My mirror in my upstairs bathroom burst.
Wow. Wow.
Strange.
Just broke.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Okay. What piqued your interest in psychology? How did you get into hypnosis?
I think I was always hypnotic. not,
First, I think we should tell people, obviously they hear your accent. Why don't you give us a quick background on where you're from and when did you come to America?
This is funny because normally when I say hello, people say, "Where are you from?" And I was waiting that you finally asked me that. I'm from Vienna, Austria, in Europe. And this is the place where most psychologists and most branches of psychology were developed.
Right.
It's not just Sigmund Freud. There were other people like Wilhelm Reich, who did radical therapy, and Alfred Adler, and all these many very famous psychologists came from Vienna. So when I was a child, my mother said, and this is it's a translation from German. She said, Evie has the second phase, meaning that I saw things other people didn't. And that was always the case. So after high school, I studied psychology for 6 months, 6 semesters and 3 years. And then somebody discovered me to become to be an actress and put me on a stage. And everybody said, yes, you need to become an actress. So I made it quite big because I was a member of the Austrian National Theatre, the Burgtheater, which is the first theater in the German-speaking countries. I was a fixed member, was very good until I was 35. I'm short, and we had a change of managing directors, and he said, you are too short for your age or too old for your height.
Oh, wow.
A good actor would have killed herself, but I decided I go to America, I go far away, and
There you go.
I start over, and I had parts, but I'm not tall and blonde and blue-eyed, so therefore, the casting director's imagination for a German-speaking person is you play a Nazi. But I played a few psychiatrists, interestingly enough. Four.
Well,
it might be just who you are inside, you know.
When I met Evie about, maybe 15, 18 years or so ago, she was a journalist at that point. You were writing for the largest media organization in Europe, if I remember correctly.
In Austria.
And say again? Sorry?
It was the largest media corporation in Austria. It was like Time.
Okay, it's fairly big. And that's what you were doing. You were like the Hollywood reporter for them. You were going everywhere because you already had made the inroads there. So you were a journalist for many years. And then, I mean, I know pretty much from my days in the industry in Hollywood, a lot of writers, especially after not the current writer's strike, but the previous ones.
Yeah.
They left town to go home to write for their local newspapers. And within a couple of years, those local newspapers no longer existed. So, you know, I tend to think that, you know, the media industry, even in Vienna, especially when COVID hit, things sort of simmered down quite a bit. And finding this hypnotherapy and being a therapist was a more logical way to go, especially living in Los Angeles like you do, where you can, where there's a lot of people who want to quit smoking or a lot of people who want to deal with weight loss. So there you go. I think I just gave more of Evie's life than...
Well, okay, so you left Austria and went to Los Angeles then.
Yep. Yeah, I had a scholarship.
Were you still writing? Were you still a journalist then, or that's when you did started the
hypnotherapy? No, I was an actress.
Okay, so you came to LA as an actress.
Yeah, as an actress, I had a scholarship from the Austrian Ministry for Culture and Education to study at Lee Strasberg, at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and I never went back because I love Los Angeles. It is my home, and I am a Hollywood girl.
Yeah, it's a great place. We've both lived there, Jon and I both. Yeah, great place. And really, you can do anything or be anything in LA. That's what I like about it. There's just so much opportunity. And then as far as the weather and the mountains and the beach and everything. So yeah, so you found your way. So I have some questions though. I was looking on your resume. So you studied NLP.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
What is it?
Neuro-linguistic reprogramming. And you know, this is what I use with my clients who have confidence issues. They tell me, you know, I am so fat, for instance, and I cannot do this and I cannot do this. And then I reframe. I am a very good, let's say, writer. And I can really write fantastic. And I plant their positive qualities and achievements into their mind so that they just forget about the weight. And then the weight falls off. The weight falls off like right.
It's about reprogramming your mind to think differently. I studied it when I was life coaching. And it was really interesting. And you know, I instinctively, I'm a helper too. Since I was a kid, I always noticed who needs help. I was always gravitating towards the person that was lost or sad or needed help. And everybody always came to me. And so I got certified as a master life coach and studied neuro-linguistic programming. And it's fascinating because, you know, you use it too. How you speak to yourself is what you believe, and how it starts in childhood, as you know. What your parents tell you is what you become. So parents can do a lot of help and a lot of damage to their kids. So
in my case, I'm eternally grateful to my mother that she never ridiculed me with my, not psychic abilities would be really too much, but with my second senses. She always encouraged it, and she said, listen to Evie, listen to Evie. She has something to say. And I was 8 years old and 9 years old, and the relatives were, this kid. But
Well, kids are very intuitive because they haven't been poisoned by culture, and all the things that limit us as we get older, and we're told, no, you can't. And I remember hearing my mother's voice from the time I was a little girl. I think you can do anything. And so therefore I jumped in and done some things that maybe I shouldn't have, but she gave me that kind of confidence that you can do anything you want. So I always have. I've never felt limited. So
before we end up here, I do want to talk to you. So why don't you tell us what you're working on, what you're specializing in now, what your current process or your current program is?
I'm so excited, I have to say. That came through me. I have no idea who told me that. It came through me. Easy peasy weight loss with Evie. And
I love it.
It is easy. It is easy because now I'm a certified nutritionist, and I can help people with hypnosis, with EMDR for the women who have PTSD, have childhood abuse, whatever it is. EMDR is a wonderful method for healing PTSD.
You do this on screen too, right?
Everything on screen, yeah.
They don't come to your home, or you don't, okay.
So you can do it all through Zoom, and you can do it for anyone, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We'll have to share your how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, please.
We'll share that so that people can get a hold of you if they're interested.
And what was the question again?
Tell us about
easy peasy. So now with hypnosis and working with PTSD, especially for clients who need to lose a lot of weight, it is much, much easier than operations, diets, whatever, pills. It really doesn't work, but a new mindset to understand it is my responsibility, and I am responsible for my health and for everything. And you have somebody that has your back. That's very important.
How often do you meet with them?
I never scold anybody.
How often do you meet with them?
For the year program, I meet 3 times a month, and I'm always available through email or a phone call in between. So if there is a crisis, they are never alone. I'm very caring. I'm a helper.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it seems like it. I think that's so wonderful, and it's so needed because our medical community in some ways has failed us. And then every time you go to the doctor for something, they just want to give you a pill.
Yep.
And that's not, then you have other side effects, and they don't always work. So to be able to turn to someone like you is, I think really timely. I think we need to start examining why we're making it's really about choices.
May I share one more thing that's on my mind? To understand hypnosis a little bit better. I had a car accident, a very severe car accident. I broke the patella, and not broke it in half. It was scattered. On my right knee, I had 2 operations, and it never ever really healed properly. I've been in pain for years and years and years, and PTSD came with it. And then one day the PTSD flared up again horribly. And I called a hypnotist in Toronto, very famous hypnotist, Mike Mandel. And I said, I need a session. And he said, okay, let's do it. What he did was, he has a process that I studied with him later, and I also use sometimes. It's called Mindscape. And what he did was, we relived my car accident, but the other car stopped in front of a wall, and my car crossed over the autobahn and got into a forest, and here I was in the forest, and
Oh.
he relaxed me deeply, deeply, deeply. I really was in the forest, and I came out, and I never had a car accident. Number
You were
one.
safe. Yeah. Wow.
So,
Never. My subconscious has never had a car accident. Still, I don't have a car
Like
accident.
it didn't happen.
and so there's no pain in your knee or in your
Oh
leg.
yes, the knee pain was the PTSD was healed through that. The
Okay.
knee pain was here, and there was another hypnotist I met at the hypnosis convention last year. He's very famous, an Englishman. Carl Smith is his name. And I told him, group of hypnotists went out for dinner, and I told him about my knee, and he said, "You are going to be my guinea pig tomorrow. I want you, I want to demonstrate on you." He did, and my knee pain is gone.
Oh, wow.
It's
Wow.
the accident is gone. I had never had an accident, and my knee pain is gone.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, the mind is so powerful. I mean, really powerful. So that's really awesome. Great. Yeah.
I had an identification as a victim of a car accident. This was
Mhm.
one of my identities. Who needs that? I don't.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you studied Lee Strasberg. Is that Meisner?
No, Lee Strasberg has his own
His own thing. I studied Meisner, which
oh,
was
yeah,
living
yeah.
through,
Yeah.
really believing.
Horrible, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was really intense, but it showed me how, and that's why some actors become mentally disturbed after they do a part, because they lived through it. It's not like pretend. It's like I lived through that experience. So yeah, it showed me how powerful the mind was, and how
Strasberg does method acting, and he destroyed
Right.
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah, many. I mean, Lee Strasberg is, his acting classes in LA were renowned to get into his classes.
Yeah.
We only have about a minute or so left here, so
Well, yeah, let's say thank you to Evie.
And
And
call me, and I have a website, www.coachevisullivan.com, and you can also call me. I like phone calls, 310-291-9001.
okay, and we'll put that on the screen too. We'll make sure everybody can get a hold of you, because I think what you're doing is fantastic. Thank you, Jon, for making the introduction, and thank you, Evie, for sharing your story and what you do with people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.